With 128 players, today only one can lift this, the Steve Davis Trophy. Welcome to the final of the Bet Victor English Open. It's the best of 17 frames, and it's time now to meet the finalists. We begin with a former Asian under-21 champion, playing today in his first ever ranking event final, Zhang. His opponent, a former world champion with 23 ranking titles. He lifted this trophy just 3 years ago. He's the reigning Masters champion, the ace in the pack, Judd.
The very best of luck to both players. A wonderful occasion and 8 frames this afternoon. We can enjoy the action in the company of Joe Johnson. And first up, good afternoon to Philip Studd.
Okay. Queen Gates.
A very good afternoon, and after 7 great days of snooker here in front of packed houses at the Brentwood Centre, we're down to the title match. Are we going to be celebrating a brand new ranking event winner in Zhang Anda, or is Judd Trump going to further embellish his already formidable CV with that great Steve Davis Trophy, the prize for the player to get to 9 frames, along with a cheque for £80,000.
Thank you. The first frame. Judd Trump to break.
Ben Williams presiding. Judd Trump, fresh from his magnificent comeback victory over John Higgins yesterday, to get us underway. And nothing like a final occasion, Joe Johnson, just to get those hairs on the back of the neck standing up.
Yeah, well, if it affects us, it must be affecting them. Certainly looking forward to this one. Always good to see a real underdog playing in a final, because as Jimmy White said, this is what they live and breathe and dream about. Being in this situation, playing against one of the all-time greats, Judd Trump. They've played 6 times, and it's 4-2 to Trump. Although he has won the last 2, Trump. They have played together as well, so they know each other's game. But things change. You know, it's a while since they've played.
Yes, I think it's going to be fascinating to see how Zhang Anda handles the occasion today. That is going to be key, because he's breaking new ground, of course, as he did in the semi-finals against Lu Hongyu. The difference there was that Lu was in a similar boat, playing his first semi as a brand new tour professional, whereas Judd Trump, as we know, has vast experience of big occasions like this. And Alan McManus made the point that when Zhou Yulong played his debut final at the European Masters, he was overwhelmed by Neil Robertson. Look at that for a view from the rafters. Every seat taken. They've been thoroughly entertained this week. We've had upsets, we've had comebacks, and now we've got, I guess, a surprise final, insofar as Zhang was not expected to get this far, but he's played superbly to do so and thoroughly deserves to be in the final. Remember, he's beaten Ronnie O'Sullivan, so he'll be thinking, Joe, well, if I can beat O'Sullivan, I can beat anyone.
Absolutely, you know, that's what he should be thinking. Yeah, he's had some good wins.
His victory over Zhou Yulong in the quarterfinals was also impressive. He played very well early on, scored heavily, was 3-0 up, and then Zhou came back at him. And maybe he just began to feel the pressure a little, but he regrouped superbly, took out the deciding frame in one visit. So he's shown excellent temperament this week. He hasn't looked ruffled. And he's scored, as Jimmy said, very heavily.
Yeah, 2 good wins in his early round matches. One against Slesser, who had beaten Jack Lasowski, and the other one against Anthony McGill.
Yeah, he only dropped 1 frame against McGill. In fact, it was only the Zhou Yulong match where he was really pushed to the limit. But you've got to think he will be today. But Judd Trump made the point, didn't he? Yeah, he's the favourite, but that comes with pressure. He's expected to deliver.
Yeah, there's been some good safety so far from both players. But Trump has put him in trouble here. You can see the red down the left side of the table, but that's no good to him. Maybe come off the right side cushion, land up to the 2 reds closest together. Well, maybe you can see these reds thin. And that was always the shot, if that's the case. Yeah, nicely done.
Trump is looking to become the second multiple champion of the English Open. This series, of course, started back in 2016 in Manchester. Trump got to the inaugural final, lost to Liang Wenbo, but 3 years ago lifted the title in a decider against Neil Robertson. Mark Selby's won it a couple of times. Selby and Trump with the best record in the home nations with 4 titles apiece. So he can move out on his own today, but most importantly for Trump, is to win his first ranking title for 19 months. Not since the Turkish Masters in Antalya in the spring of last year has he tasted ranking success. Yes, of course, he won the Masters last season. But to win another ranking would mean a lot to him. I would also put him on 20 Mark Williams and out on his own in 6th place in the all-time list ahead of Neil Robertson, who also has 23. For Zhang Anda, it would be the realisation of a lifetime ambition to become a ranking snooker champion.
Of course, he has to think about that. But how do you keep it out of your mind? The biggest game of his life. And so far, he's playing quite well. Safety's good. And when the safety's good, it can take some time to get in amongst them. £80,000 for the winner, 35 for the runner-up.
Zhang has already broken new ground in getting to this final. He's up to 40 in the provisional rankings. His previous high 55, and if he wins today, he'll be up to 30. Ahead of compatriots Fan Zhengyi, former European Masters champion, and that was one of the biggest upsets of all time when he beat Ronnie O'Sullivan as a 750-to-1 outsider at the start of the tournament. And Si Jiawei, who of course produced those heroics at the Crucible in the spring. So There's a lot riding on this for Zhang in more ways than one. Judd Trump will remain in 4th spot regardless today in the ranking list. It's got to help Zhang though, hasn't it, to have some early shots in this final. We know what Trump can do if he gets on a roll, as he did against Higgins yesterday.
Yeah, hard to get on a roll though with this kind of safety play from both players. Another good one from Trump there. Yeah, I always thought he might be tempted by this red down the cushion. Just screw the cue ball back. It shouldn't leave anything but the red he's playing on. Yeah, look at that. Inch perfect. Good shot.
So the opening frame into its 10th minute, still a ball to be potted.
Yeah, some would say that's really good snooker. Not to have left anything for either opponent. And Judd Trump giving Zhang plenty of respect, as he should.
Trump has already been in a ranking final this season, of course, losing to Barry Hawkins in Nuremberg in the European Masters final. But for Zhang Anda, his form this season has been a revelation. Last season was a bit of a disappointment, really. Nothing better than a couple of last 32s. Lost out in very disappointing fashion in the final qualifying round of the World Championship in a decider. That was against Noppon Sankam, who he will play, by the way, at the Wuhan Open next week, having got a bye with Mark Williams withdrawing from the tournament. But this season he's qualified not only for Wuhan but for the upcoming international championships. And his form this week really has been outstanding. It's not just been the wins and the calibre of the opposition, it's been the way in which he has won his matches, with heavy scoring, with an excellent temperament. It's just looked very controlled about everything he's done on the table. And this is the culmination, as he said in his interview ahead of this match, of many, many years' work. Finally, all of that hard graft has been paying off. First ranking event final at 31.
Never too late. Well, that was just a little heavy. That would have been a half chance had he been able to see that long red. Doesn't want to leave Zhang with a chance of that red near the right side cushion. It's another good pace. Very nearly a good snooker as well. Just caught the yellow. Well, he's got a couple of shots here. He could play The long red to the corner, just drop it in, leave the cue ball in the jaws of the pocket. Or come off the black cushion and land up to those two reds. He's seen something different. Clipping off these reds, there's danger with this. Now, could you see an attempted pot? It's a difficult one, and it doesn't look as though there's any hiding place. Cue ball could be going into the reds.
.5 minutes now, still 0-0.
Yeah, couldn't be tempted. And this time he's got behind that yellow. My, what a shot that was. Played it with a lot of right-hand side on the cue ball to check it back down the table. Just the right amount of right-hand side. Trouble. Watch the cue ball here. It checks. Such a good side player. Very nearly got that same shot his last attempt at the safety. Well, he couldn't have played that any better, could he? Excellent escape. Trying to get him to do it again. Wasn't far away. .15 minutes, not a ball potted. Only one attempted. Well, that's a mistake. But how costly? Can he see the red over the right corner? I don't think so. Oh, and there's confirmation. He could try and move it. There's a couple of reds that he could do that with. This is one of them. Oh. Still not easy, this. I don't think he can see it direct. I don't know how this stayed out, actually. So, first blood, Zhang.
in the 18th minute after a titanic safety battle.
After a long safety battle, these shots are not easy. Lots of pressure on it. Knows he's going to be leaving reds on now if he misses this. Yeah, good pot. Good pot.
Seven. Eight.
He was asked ahead of this final, Zhang, if he was surprised by what he'd achieved this week, and he said, actually, no. I knew I was playing well. This is what I've been working towards. It's obviously taken him longer than he would have liked to reach a major final, but he backs his ability. And we've seen that this week. He's been thoroughly unintimidated by the calibre of opponent he's played, including Ronnie O'Sullivan. Twice he was behind in that match, but he just got on with the job. He stayed in his own little
14.
bubble. O'Sullivan was beginning to lose his rag towards the end of that match, annoyed by some movement in the crowd, but Zhang just stayed focused on what he had to do, and he finished the match in style. And if he can maintain that demeanour today, well, he's going to be a handful, I think, for Trump, because he is scoring heavily.
Yeah, this kind of game won't suit Trump.
15.
He was always kissing that red. He could have tucked the other red on, gone down to the baulk colours, come back down to the reds. So another pressure shot this. He's high. Yep.
Zhang under 15.
You know, he's going to have to score heavier than 15 when he gets in amongst them. That was a poor positional shot, you've got to say, from red to pink. Now, what can Trump do?
1.
It was an extraordinary burst from Trump yesterday against John Higgins. He really looked down and out. Higgins was completely outplaying him in all departments. Trump was showing some frustration. 5-2, the match looked over, frankly. And then that one moment of inspiration,
7.
as we see Zhang undercutting the pink, when he released the awkward brown on this right side rail from the green, changed the match around completely. Higgins didn't pot another ball after he missed the yellow to close it out at 6-2. Said afterwards it was akin to being
8.
hit by a truck. But it was shades of the Trump that burst onto the scene back in 2011 when he won the China Open and then raced to the final of the World Championship. The old fearless snooker, the swagger, the aggressive shot making and splitting of the pack.
Yeah, and of course, he played very similar against Higgins in that World Final, didn't he? Played some unmissable shots.
Absolutely, yeah.
Incredible.
2019, incredible performance over 2 days. Arguably the
14.
best in a Crucible final.
I fully agree, because Higgins was playing quite well at that time, wasn't he? I think he made 4 centuries.
He did. Trump made 7.
15.
Well, that didn't go according to plan for Trump. Now, does he take the long pink on?
Judd Trump 15.
So, 15 apiece. Good visits to the table. And it was Trump this time who didn't play good position on the red, which led to that difficult pink. Finished high on it instead of low. Needs to get the black back on its spot as quickly as possible. Zhang. Not going to be this shot. Just going to concentrate on the blue for the time being, both colours.
Six.
He only missed one shot with the rest yesterday. These are tough, these type of shots. Nicely played.
Seven.
It always looked a little wide.
Zhang under
I
seven.
thought it was going to drop. The cannon didn't work out as he intended. Now with that black over the pocket, this could turn out to be a prolonged safety battle. Seen those drop many times. But these pockets are not playing big.
A quintessentially tense opening frame in a major final. Both players have had chances, have seen the break end earlier than they would have hoped for. After a protracted initial safety battle, this frame is already into its 25th minute. And there could be some way to go yet, with the black now covering that corner pocket, as Joe mentioned.
Potted a good red with the rest, didn't he, to leave himself with that not too difficult black. But had it gone in, he wasn't on a red. Didn't get the cannon as he intended. This could be close. And it was. Now, can Trump see this red to the left corner? Don't think he can, the brown. Let's come to Zhang's rescue. So, possibly another double here. Concentrating on the white. Get it back into the balk area. Well, a mistake. But the red has run to the cushion. whoever wins this final, going to need the rub of the green. Zhang certainly got it there.
This has got to be to Zhang's benefit, though, the nature of this opening frame, just giving him an opportunity to acclimatise. He said that he was nervous ahead of his semi-final last night against Liu Hongyu. He'd never played in a one-table setup before, so took a bit of acclimatising.
You know, he might be tempted by this red, closest to the left corner. He's coming down to have a look to see if it's touching the cushion. Almost certainly to leave it if he misses it. Now, how's your luck? He's going to leave a chance here for Zhang. Just don't know why he hit it so hard.
He missed quite a few into that left corner pocket from distance yesterday, Trump, when he was struggling a bit and Higgins was completely on top of the match. That wasn't easy, obviously. It was a very thin snick, but this is a chance for Zhang to get in.
Well, chance to win. Nothing safe, really.
1. Yes, you.
This is going to be probably the hardest positional shot. Just don't know why he hit it so hard to bring the cue ball back down the table. Well, not the best positional shot.
Half an hour already elapsed and still 6 reds left.
8. Nine.
Well, that's a nice angle to pop the red, come across for the black or play down for the blue.
13. $14. $21.
Nothing like winning the first frame of a final when you're brand new to the occasion.
22.
Despite a couple of misses into this right corner, the pink and the black. It looks as though it won't be expensive the way things are going. Trump looking a little edgy. Thought he looked very relaxed when he had a brief word to Alan when he was on the practice table just a few minutes before the players were introduced. But when you get out there, it's a different vibe, Joe.
Yeah, I've been impressed
29.
with Zhang. He's cool. He's taking his chances.
30.
Yeah, he had a little bit of run. Could have left that red over the left corner. And Trump could have potted it. But when he's got the chance, he's done okay.
Oh,
Just this red.
Yeah, this is what he's been doing all week against top quality opposition, the likes of McGill and
37.
O'Sullivan and Zhou Yulong. Doing it in a final is another proposition altogether, but this is exactly the start he would have hoped
38.
for. He's had loads of
Please
table
make sure
time
your phones are
already.
switched off, please. Thank you.
1 or 2 mobile phones going off, but I think Zhang is very good at blocking out all of that.
$45.
Well, gasps from the audience,
Down
but
under 45,
he's done enough,
I'm afraid.
surely. Judd Trump concedes, so a 34-minute opening frame with bags of top draw safety initially, a few potting errors after that, but it's the underdog who strikes first. English Open is underway, and the Steve Davis Trophy is on the line for the first player to get to 9 frames today, and so far so good for the underdog. Zhang Anda, world number 57, never before this
Thank
week.
you, the second frame. Zhang Anda to break.
And he's conjured a break of 45 in a 34-minute frame, despite a couple of potting errors, to take the opener against Judd Trump, with 7 more in this session. The usual interval after 4. And the final session getting underway at 7 o'clock UK time this evening.
Well, he's got that cue ball reasonably close to the cushion. Well, that could have been a lot worse for Trump. Good kiss on the brown. Otherwise, he would have left a chance at that red.
Yeah, sure.
It's in the balk area. No, he's going to get away with this one. He's shoved the red towards that corner. And I said it yesterday, when you're playing the safety, first of all, you've got to make sure of the object ball. And then if you get the snooker, all well and good. But fortunately for Zhang, he's covered the red without swerving the cue ball.
I think there was a sense yesterday about the semi-finals that whoever came through the Trump-Higgins showdown was going to be red-hot favourite, and it almost felt like a final with that in mind. But make no mistake, this means a lot to Trump today. He hasn't won a ranking final for 19 months. He's under pressure to deliver against Zhang, who's brand new to this environment.
Well, no need to say that was very risky, especially with the cue ball going into the reds. So,
Thank you. 1.
3 or 4 reds out. But Zhang, what can he do? Needs to get them reds open as soon as possible. That's what Trump would be doing, trying to win the frame at this visit. The red
8.
that's above the black will go to the right corner at some stage, and if he could leave himself low on that red, he could use the pack of reds to play position.
9.
Ben Williams just spotting the pink on the brown spot. Its own
16.
spot occupied. Now this is the shot that I'm talking about. If he can leave himself a little low on this red above the black, he could then open that pack of reds and play onto the black. Ray O'Sullivan's absolutely got this shot down to a T, but it's too hard for that shot this time
23.
round.
$24.
Now, does he go into them? I'll play for that loose red. He has been positive. He's often left it late, like the last red there. I don't think he's been fortunate. Got a
29.
red to the yellow pocket, but I think that's about it. Didn't quite catch them full enough, did he? Cue ball was off running, and it could have finished on a red, to be fair. Yeah, good recovery. Good recovery. Unfortunately, there's a red nearest the left corner, so he just needs to drop the blue in.
$35. $36.
Yeah, perfectly played. Now, does he go into them again or play for the loose red? Still a couple of reds. Well, 3 reds, that will go. So no need to go into them, I don't think, now. All about choice, though. And he chose to go into them.
41.
Then cut to the corner, but it's on.
Zhang under 41.
Well, a half chance you've got to say for Trump. If it goes in, they are there. Well, it used all of the pocket, and it's dropped in.
He'd missed his first 4 attempts from long range in this final, so he'll be relieved to see that one go in.
And just had the angle there, although he's over hit that one. Would have liked to have been straight on this red to play for the black.
Seven.
Over hit that one.
The way he finished against Higgins was sensational, but Judd Trump made the point afterwards that he'd be looking to start matches like that a bit more often. Just take some of the pressure off, settle into his work early. First frame didn't work out, the first half of this one didn't, but chance of a comeback.
Well, these 5 reds surrounding each other, all covering each other, nothing on.
10.
So we've still got another couple of reds.
11.
And he would have dearly liked an angle there, just to give them a little touch and stay on the loose one. But I don't think he's got the angle to play that shot. So I think he may have chose to go down for the blue.
18.
The reds. And that's just about right. Needs a bit of luck here. It's not just about hitting the reds. Gonna finish on one. Looking at the possibility of a plant to the left corner. Doesn't want to knock a red in here. Well, he's on one, but it's not easy.
24.
He could play down for the brown, and if it goes in, he can get back to the reds from the brown. That's how confident he was. And now look at the reds. You'd think that this is the shot. Could have played the yellow there and been guaranteed to be on a red.
31.
Yeah, good pot. Not out of the woods yet, though. He's got an angle on the brown to come back down the table, but these can go wrong. And he needs a bit of luck. He hasn't got into the brown enough, and that 36. Looks to be end of break. Poor positional shot that from Judd, you've got to say. If he's on a red there, he's guaranteed more or less to win this frame. Nicely played. Very risky that. And the hard end leaves the red to the middle.
His second frame then hangs in the balance. 51 remaining. Just 5 points between them. And everything in open play.
got it much too thick. Needs a bit of luck here. Oh, my word, did he get some. Yeah, I think that poor positional shot on the brown, from brown to red, has just thrown Trump a little. Very risky to take this red on. He could just drop the cue ball on the black cushion. On the baulk cushion, shall I say.
It is very early days, but I think already notions of a runaway, a cruise for Judd Trump to a 24th ranking title are being questioned here, given how competitive the start of this final has been.
Yeah, and that's what Zhang's got to keep doing, making it competitive. Well, very difficult to get to the next red from there. Just concentrated on the 6 points. 12 the difference now. Well, and now it's Zhang who's pleased to see that red on the right side cushion. He could go straight at the red here, but I think the shot really is to play for the blue. Try and leave an angle to bring the red into play.
One.
Too hard for the blue. The pink favours a right-handed player. Another poor positional shot, you've got to say, from Trump from such an easy red. Decided to play for the safety, I imagine.
6. Judd trump 6.
Well, there is a little bit sticking out. I'd be delighted with that.
Yes, it's not just about hitting the red here for Trump, it's leaving it safe as well, with nothing else safe on the table.
It's going to go in, this. Which would you prefer, Zhang? The red in or snookered? The brown looks to be in the way of coming up and down the table without playing it with a touch of check. If he hits it, you'd think he pots it. So you may as well play it at speed so that if you do pot it, you bring the cue ball out for a colour.
Foul. Miss.
Very fortunate there, Judd Trump, wasn't he?
And that could be the difference between 2-0 Zhang and 1 apiece. Trump with a chance now. If he can get decent position. Golden chance.
1.
Well, no idea where the cue ball is and how it's finished. But not too bad. Should pop this blue. Screw back for the yellow. Into the green pocket. Wow, it caught that near knuckle. It wasn't a confident pot, that.
6.
He needs this frame, you think, Judd Trump?
Needs up to the blue.
Eight.
A little bit too much right-hand side on the cue ball. Again, wanted to be straighter on the pink, on the green. This is going to be difficult now to get round for the brown. Great pot.
11.
Again, not ideal. 2 balls.
Just frame 2 of a possible 17, but it's already very tense and tight here in the English Open final. And Trump still with work to do to level the match.
To keep running. Perfect. Relief for Judd Trump.
He got a bit lucky in snookering Zhang on the final red. Zhang couldn't pot it off the cushion. If he had done, every chance it would have been 2-0 to the underdog, and some early problems for the hot favourite, as it is. The former English Open champion will be feeling a good deal better to get an early frame on the board and level the English Open final here in Brentwood. Battle joined, 1 frame all. The wonderful Steve Davis Trophy will be lifted aloft for whoever makes 9 frames this evening. Very, very competitive opening to this final. Both frames could have gone either way, and Judd Trump needed just a little slice of luck at the back end of the previous one, snookering Zhang on the red that was hanging invitingly over the green pocket lip, but Zhang couldn't get to it, and Trump did the business. So 1 apiece. Another 6 coming in this session.
Yes, it was a slice of luck. It was a big slice of luck, wasn't it? Because, as you say, more than likely it would have been 2-0. And Trump struggling. And even so, I fancied him to hit that red. Pot it. Come out for a colour. He played it hard enough. This is going to drift in behind the yellow. Not quite.
Thank you.
Nicely played, Snooker, on all the reds. Now, I could try and land up to the reds just below the pink. There's danger if he tries to land up to that red that's on the black cushion. Just something to think about here, not straightforward this. Yeah, that will do nicely.
Yeah, sure.
It's been a tough road to this final for Zhang Anda. He turned pro back in 2009. 3 times he fell off the tour, but each time he showed the resilience, the determination to get back on again. And he's determined to make the most of this rich vein of form that he struck at the start of this season. And already he's looking pretty much at home in this final. Sometimes it can be intimidating, particularly when you're playing someone like Trump, and particularly given how Trump ended up winning his semi-final. But so far he's looked composed, as he's done throughout the week, and he's competing very well. He'll be disappointed not to be 2-0 up, but equally I think Trump has seen enough already to suggest that he's going to have to work hard to win this title. He's not going to do it without playing well.
With shots like that, yes. This time Trump got the snooker. Well, not quite the snooker, but trouble. Safety success from both players, excellent.
Passionate, enthusiastic, knowledgeable crowds here in Essex. They've loved what they've seen this week. They've appreciated the safety as well. That battle we had in the opening frame that lasted 18 minutes. Some terrific safety from both players. It's not all about the big breaks.
This is dangerous. Oh, he's been very fortunate there. Could have left the red on to the right corner very easily. He didn't play to hit that red. He was trying to land up to the reds above it. Oh, does it go? He doesn't think so. It looks like it would on TV. good pot. Trump just left enough angle on this red to be able to come out for one of the balk colours. It was a good pot. There wasn't as much pressure with it. So he's in first again. He was in first in the last frame. Got to start scoring heavier. But this isn't the easiest of tables.
Three. Four. Ten. $11.
Well, he could play for the red to the right middle here. Doesn't look as though much goes to this right corner.
$17. 18.
Trump leads the head-to-head 4-2, but it's got to help that Zhang has had a couple of wins over his opponent today. He knows he can beat him.
Yeah, they haven't played for 4 years. So plenty of time for Zhang to have got a little bit better.
24.
And forget about the losses.
Well, I think unquestionably this week has been the best snooker he's ever produced. He'd never been past the quarterfinals in a ranking event previously. So just getting to the semis was progress for Zhang. But now to play in a final with the chance of landing a bumper paycheck, but more importantly for him, of course, the ranking points that goes with it. He'll be inside the top 32 if he wins today.
Yeah, and if he keeps playing like this and not missing when he's in, he's making it very difficult for Trump to assert
31.
his authority on this match. He's keeping Trump sat in his chair for long periods of time.
And at the moment, he's 9 percentage points clear in the pot success at 90 to 81.
32.
Well, he's probably thinking it's going to take a good shot here to be on another red. He wanted to be straight on this pink. But not rushing, taking all things into consideration. Another good pot. And things are just going for Zhang under at the moment. The kiss couldn't have gone kinder there. He did play the kiss. I wasn't sure how it was going to pan out, but it couldn't have been any better. This has now turned into a winning chance. Wow, I caught that near angle. Still dropped.
Yeah, this was a heart in the mouth moment because it was travelling. Sometimes at that pace, hitting the near jaw, they stay out, but happily for Zhang, disappeared.
.46. .47. .54. .55.
Just overrun slightly. These shots look easy on TV, but look at the reds if he does miss. Nicely played.
62.
Put everything into that. And now the frame should be his. Just this this black needed. And he's took these very well indeed. Wasn't an easy table when he came to the table. The black wasn't available.
And a good response
69.
to the disappointment of losing the tight second frame, which he might well have won had he not been snookered on that final red. But again, further evidence of the excellent temperament that Zhang is showing at the moment.
70.
He plays at his own pace, quite deliberate in his style, very different to Trump, but because he's scoring so heavily, he's using up a lot of table time, and that's going to be frustrating for Trump, of course, because he knows if he does leave Zhang a chance, he could be sitting in his chair for quite some time. This frame is surely won now with only 59 left, regardless of this red. No problem, though.
78.
He's queuing well. Another measure of Zhang's dramatic upturn in form this season is that he's already made as many centuries in this campaign as he did in the whole of the last 9. No century this time, but that was a superbly constructed break of 85. As Joe said, it was far from straightforward initially, but he took it very coolly. And he's got himself back in front in this English Open final at 2-1. Fascinating opening to the English Open final. Zhang Anda standing up to the pressure and the occasion on his ranking final debut. giving Judd Trump plenty to think about as he leads by 2 frames to 1. This is the frame before the first interval, with another 5 coming in this first session. 9 the target for the title. What an excellent break that was. 85, launched by a superb long red. A couple of awkward pots to negotiate to keep it going. And Trump's best contribution so far, just 36. Interesting start, Joe.
Well, he hasn't had much chance, although he did have in the frame previously to the last, when he didn't get on the colours from the brown. But look at the cue ball there.
Well, he had a big miscue yesterday. Cue ball leaping into the air. He's hit the red in the end, but that's not going to do Judd Trump's confidence much good. He's been talking about the state of his tip, which is in less than perfect condition, it's fair to say. That's nothing unusual for Trump.
Well, he's got a great opening here. Zhang on that. I think the black. Well, yes, it will go.
1.
He's just not getting flustered. Not missing anything easy. I hope I haven't spoiled things for him by saying that.
8. 9.
He has made a maximum, I
16.
believe.
Yes, it was last year in the European Masters. His only concern here, though, is to make the most of this unexpected opportunity after the miscue from Trump, cueing from tight under the baulk rail. And of course, he's getting this opportunity right off the back of that break of 85, so he's feeling good.
Well, he is on a red to the left middle. Could
22.
have been easier, mind, but... And he could have played for the loose reds, but just shows you how he's thinking now. He's feeling confident. Big shot this, though. It's going to be leaving reds on if he misses it. Right in the middle. He's just not doing anything wrong. His safety play is excellent. He's up at 97% as opposed to Judd's 90%. Trump just cannot get in.
28.
This man is taking all the table times Philip suggested and not making any mistakes except that one. Well, and he's got a little bit of luck there, not leaving anything on.
28.
Nothing easy, should I say. Out of all the rest shots that he's played, that was probably the easiest. Not showing much emotion.
Uncharacteristic from Zhang to miss one like that this week.
Yeah, because he knows he could have been 3-1 up there.
Equally relief for Trump that the miscue didn't cost him more than a 28-point deficit, but He could have had an easier starter.
Well, he better cover this red over the right corner because Trump's had a look to see if it's potable. Well, another mistake. This red isn't a gimme though. First signs there from Zhang under that he's feeling it. That easy red that he missed with the rest. He'll be thinking about that. Cue ball. Wow, it's close.
It's not really happening at the moment though for Trump, is it?
No, just when he needed something. He's not on the colour.
Pot success remains at 82%. It is very early in the final.
You Trump 1.
But has to settle for the snooker behind the brown. It was a similar story, of course, yesterday for Trump when John Higgins was monopolising the table, making the big breaks, out safetying Trump, leading 5-2. And was a ball away from a 6-2 win, but that was the catalyst for Trump to produce some spectacular snooker. Turn the match his way. There's a long, long way to go in this final. But any notions of a landslide for this man, I think, have already been shown to be fanciful. Zhang is here to play. Not for the first time this week. It just felt as though that red was moving ever so slightly to the far jaw rather than towards the pocket.
Well, it certainly held its line, even if it didn't drift up. Oh, good pot here. Yeah, nicely played. He's going to be nicely on the blue. He might decide to go into them. It's such a big target. And the reds are already spread. Doesn't need to go into them hard if he does go into them.
Six. Seven.
And that's okay. He's still on the red. And now the red directly above the black will go into the left corner.
14.
That little nudge on the pink has freed that red. So this is another good frame winning opportunity.
trickier than the one he missed just now with the rest.
Yeah, because there was just a little bit more to do with the cue ball, but that's okay. I think the red above the pink will go to the left corner. The one above the black will certainly go to the left corner. So you would think just the black, and he's on one.
$22. $23.
Played it well, nicely on the red, 55-point lead. Couple of reds needed.
$29.
$63 the lead, so one ball away
36.
from a 3-1 interval lead, and Judd Trump with things to think about. Another miscue from him, just as he had against Higgins. Missed a red into this left centre just now. But Zhang has found the pocket with his red. And that's enough to leave Judd Trump needing a snooker to tie. In fact, he needs 2 snookers. 64 the difference, 59 left. And he's going to be in one by the looks of it.
Zhang under 37 and the frame.
And Judd Trump has had enough. So, Trump, the overwhelming favourite to win a second English Open, finds himself behind at the first interval. Another cool, calm and collective performance from the final debutant, Zhang Anda, who seems to be enjoying himself at the moment. Why not? He leads by 2 at 3-1.
Players then, of course, 4 more frames to be played this afternoon, and once again sit back, relax, and we can enjoy the action with Joe Johnson and first up Philip Studd.
Thank you. The 5th frame, Judd Trump to break.
Well, from the point of view of the neutral, perhaps this is what this final needed. Zhang making a surprisingly quick start against Judd Trump. I say surprising because most people thought Trump would be something approaching a shoe-in to win this today, given that Zhang is playing his first final. Trump is playing his 39th ranking final, going for his 24th title, but it's not panning out that way at the moment. And we could be in for something very competitive all the way to the wire. But as Jimmy has pointed out there, at the moment this match is being played on Zhang Anda's terms at his pace, and it's up to Trump to try and change that dynamic and impose himself. But you can only do that if you're given the opportunities, and Zhang's safety so far has been close to immaculate, Joe. 31 out of 33 successfully executed.
Yeah, and on top of that, he's getting the run of the ball as well. So when he did miss, I mean, he missed an easy red with the rest in the last frame, but didn't leave anything on. Eventually, Trump potted that red over the pocket, but he didn't get onto a colour. It was so thin, he didn't know where the cue ball was going. So he is on top, and it's going to take some good snooker to get him out of that bubble, as Jimmy calls it.
And of course, Trump did have a bit of run, didn't he, at the back end of frame 2 when he snookered Zhang on the red over the pocket. Otherwise, could have been an even deeper hole as it is. 3-1, still bags of time to recover. There are still 4 frames in this session to come. 9 is the target for the title. Their 7th meeting, Trump having won 4 of the previous 6.
Yep, and still going for him. He played that cue ball to the baulk cushion, but look where it is. Perfect on the brown.
Six.
I didn't want to finish so straight on the black.
Second, please. Thank you. 13.
And that's not a bad kiss on the yellow. Now, does he go into the reds here? Such a big target to go into them from. He's looking at the brown, but the yellow is always going to be the ball. Yeah, and that's the shot to play. He's on a red to the middle, but I'm not sure if he can get to a colour from that red. That could have turned out a lot nicer. He may have to play safe here, because is it risk playing the red to the middle for 1 point? And that's an absolute cracker. What a shot that was. That was absolutely brilliant. It should be, could be a frame winner. He really gave that a lot of thought.
$24. 25.
Again, would have liked to have been straighter on this red. May have to go down for the
32.
blue.
$33. $38.
But far from looking like a final rookie, he appears almost veteran-like. Zhang Anda, he's been waiting for this moment for a long time. He turned pro for the first time 14 years ago. Been off the tour on 3 occasions. Got back as recently as a couple of years back.
39.
Thoroughly embracing this opportunity. He knows he's a big underdog. He doesn't care. Just going about his business as he has throughout the week. He was a big underdog against Ronnie O'Sullivan, and we know how that ended.
I think he's just enjoying himself out there, Philip, and why shouldn't he? You know, people say, go out and enjoy yourself. Well, that's what he's doing. And things are just working out for him. Every little touch, every cannon, it's working out
44.
absolutely perfectly.
$45.
Well, that's not gone according to plan. He's still on this red to the left corner, but not straightforward to get to a colour. Have to go back up for the blue.
53.
And it's working out just fine. Perfect position again. This is top-class snooker
58.
by anybody's standards.
We're watching the world number 57, remember, or at least that's what he was when he arrived in Brentwood. He's guaranteed to be at least 40 just by getting this far.
59.
Could be as high as 30 if he wins tonight. A long, long way off the winning line. But how well is he playing at the moment?
At some stage, though, he's going to start to think, well, wait a minute. I've got a chance of winning this now. A real chance. And maybe that's
66.
when the pressure will come on.
Well, he only needs this red to increase the lead to 3, barring snookers. Judd Trump looking a little alarmed, and understandably, this is not going to the script.
73. $74.
It's just a serenity about Zhang Anda, playing at his own pace, taking his time, but just looking completely unruffled and unaffected by the gravity of the situation. The fact that he's in a major final for the first time, playing one of the world's best, who's well used to this environment, and at the moment outplaying one of the world's best by some margin. Judd Trump's pot success is now at 79%. Zhang Anda's is at 94%.
Well, to be honest, I don't know how it's gone down Trump's, because he hasn't had a go at anything. He's been totally frozen out.
$88.
So this is now his highest break. Every chance of making a century. And as Philip said, he's already made as many centuries this year in the first few tournaments than he did in the whole of the last year.
When he did nothing better in the round of 32, and that was only on a couple of occasions. It's been a remarkable upturn in form at the start of this season. He said he took a lot of confidence from his qualifying victories for the upcoming Chinese ranking events. Outstanding.
Yeah, brilliant. Well played. In total control of himself.
103. $106.
Judd Trump pointed out ahead of this final that he'd noticed that Zhang's numbers were very impressive when it came to his weight of scoring this week. He's seeing it up close this afternoon, and it must be giving him cause for concern. He's going to have to raise his game. He's going to have to try and impose his game style on this final, which at the moment he's not being allowed to do.
150.
He was able to do it when it mattered in the nick of time yesterday against Higgins. Can he do it again
121.
in what remains of this session? The best he can do now is tie it up. But Zhang Anda has designs on a healthy lead going into this evening's conclusive session. What a performance this is, a 1-2-8 clearance from Zhang as he extends his lead over to 4-1. Who had Zhang Anda outscoring Judd Trump by 3-1 at this stage of the final? In fact, make that 4-1 with change. Extraordinary, really. 128, 85, a couple of 40s and a 30. Just 36 from Judd Trump. That's his only break. The English Open final. 4-1 to Zhang. 3 more frames to come in this session, so the worst he can be is level, but right now Trump would bite your hand off for that score. He's had very little table time.
Well, half chance here, you've got to say. Cue ball just away from the cushion. Needs a bit of luck. And he's covered the easier red, I think, but well, maybe not. So, he's off again.
Judd Trump has potted just 1 ball since he levelled at 1-1.
Well, he stayed positive. And he's on a red.
6.
He's looking at the possibility of a plant there. Looks like it can be made easy enough, but has a red to the left middle. Whichever one he fancies.
Trump looking a little puzzled now in his seat.
Yeah, he's being completely outplayed at the moment. He's not getting the rub of the green. Judd Trump took that long red on and left it on.
It was a very similar scenario yesterday. John Higgins was dominating Trump in all departments. Of course, the difference is that in Higgins we're talking about one of the all-time greats of the game. Here we're looking at someone who's never been close to a big final before.
Well, that's a mistake, I think. And it's just little things like that that can affect Zhang, because he knows that was a chance to go 5-1 at that visit. Now, as long as he doesn't lose the frame, he'll stay in control of himself. Got to be careful now, because he knows that Trump will take that plant on if he's allowed to see it. Maybe forced into playing the blue.
Big shot, this.
It is a big shot. But also, what I will say is that, yeah, the plant's available, but the black and the pink are in difficult positions, and even worse now that the blue's come down the table. So this isn't straightforward. The plant's not straightforward. The positional side of the shot not.
What can Trump muster here? A great shot maker. He's capable of engineering a break out of very little, and as Joe has mentioned, the table is not exactly inviting.
Well, it's horrible at the moment.
Hard to believe that he's yet to make a 40 break, but as I say, yesterday it was a similar story. At one stage he was unable to make 30 before that dramatic turnaround at the back end of the match.
Well, that's a good pot. Nearly half an hour since he potted his last ball. Very risky to play the cannon to the red next to the black. Maybe just try and get a few balls in. Oh dear.
Gonna miss.
Well, this is becoming
6-4.
a chronic problem for Judd Trump. That's the third big miscue in the space of 2 matches, and it's scuppered a good opportunity to at least get himself back in this 6th frame. Did exactly the same yesterday, hopping over a red into that right corner.
Yeah, and a gift for Zhang under, because the pink will go to this right corner. Just looking at his tip there, it doesn't look too bad actually, but when you've lost confidence in the tip.
He was saying to Jimmy that there's actually quite a big lump missing from it, and there's not a great deal of life left in it, but Trump has a tendency to wear his tips into the ground rather than replace them.
Now will Zhang attempt to bring the black into play here? He's played it well, a little bit close to the black.
8.
Awkward. It's awkward. And there's no guarantee of being on a red. Good pot. And the red to the right middle is on.
15.
Well, who would have thought this possible? 5 frames to 1 advantage on the cards here.
$21.
Judd Trump has got a lot to contend with right now. The quality of Zhang Anda's snooker, first and foremost, and the composure he's showing in his debut final, but he's also got equipment issues as well, and that isn't going to do anything for his confidence.
Well, that's just where he wants to be for this possible plant to the left corner, right behind it.
28. Yes.
Well, that couldn't have worked out any better. Getting the cannon to the red on the side cushion, leaving himself perfectly on the black. Now this is on. a matter of belief now. And he's 4-1 up, chance to go 5. Red to the middle looks to be the favourite.
36.
For the difference, so doesn't need many more.
Thirty-seven.
He's also been good at getting himself top side of the blue, which makes positional play so much more routine. That's what you want when you're under pressure in a final, keeping a tight rein on the cue ball. And he's been able to do
42.
that very effectively from his first match here in Brentwood. He's only been seriously tested once, really, by Zhou Yulong, who took him to a decider
43.
after Zhang had led 3-0, but he responded in that decider with a 1-visit kill.
Well, he's still not safe in this frame yet. Not the best positional shot there. And still needs another red after this colour that he attempts.
Well,
In off.
That's so unfortunate.
good Trump.
But a chance for Trump, albeit a difficult one.
Extremely unfortunate there, Zhang, to go in off the red, having potted the pink when he was 1 red away from 5-1. Will it prove to be significant? Time will tell. Trump is 1 from 7 from long range in this final.
Yep, and he's not going to get away with it. He can't give in yet, because he can still win the frame, but I feel sure he would have done. So Zhang not paying the price for that unfortunate in-off.
Judd Trump's pot success going in the wrong direction, down to 76% now. Zhang Anda at 94, which is outstanding.
Eight.
We have had some big upsets in major finals in recent times, not least Fan Zhengyi when he beat Ronnie O'Sullivan for the Masters. He was a 750-1 outsider at the outset. Jordan Brown, who did the same to O'Sullivan in the Welsh Open final, having started the tournament with similar long odds. And not many people thought that Zhang Anda could come out on top today against Judd Trump. Yes, he's had a great tournament, but surely Trump would have too many guns for him in the title match, given the vast inequity and their relative experience of the big occasion. But at the moment, Zhang Anda is making a mockery of that.
16.
And Judd Trump is in a deep hole.
70.
It's a very deep hole at the moment, 5-1. But if he could finish 5-3, Trump, it's not beyond him this evening. But how does he get there? Things are just not going for him. Had a half chance with that long red at his last visit.
And before that, the miscue, when he had a chance to get a few points on the board. Incredibly, his highest break
24.
remains just 36.
31.
Oh. And now he's playing like Judd Trump. Zhang is in dreamland in Brentwood. Judd Trump is in trouble with a capital T. Zhang extends his lead to 4 at 5 frames to 1. This game of snooker never loses its ability to surprise. That's the
Thank you, the 7th frame.
trophy at the end of the day, the Steve Davis trophy. For whoever makes 9 frames. At the moment, Judd Trump's still 8 away from making that happen for him. Now being outscored nearly 5 to 1. And who would have believed at the start of this afternoon when they shook hands that Trump would be in damage limitation mode with 2 frames to play? The best he can do is be 2 behind going into this evening. It could be a whole lot worse the way Zhang's playing. That said, as you mentioned, Joe, there's still the issue of converting the advantage into victory in a first title, and you would think at some point down the line that could affect Zhang, make him more tense, more tight, but it's down to Trump to plant that seed of doubt by getting back involved in this final.
Yeah, he's got to keep his belief that he can keep this up, you know, because at some stage you might think to himself, how am I doing this? Well, you're doing it because you're playing very, very consistent snooker. He's left a chance here for Trump. It's covered the black. I'm not sure if the pink's available either, but it's a chance. It's the first time he's been in first. And if you look where the cue ball was then, it was a long way from the baulk line. So it wasn't a good safety, but Trump has not left himself good on this blue, under hitting that by a long way.
Blue ball.
Good pot.
Six.
Yeah, we're looking at finishing this session 6-2 at least. Zhang under. 1-1-5-3.
7.
Not sure if he's flicked it enough. That could be end of break.
Certainly the body language would suggest so. That's the thing, isn't it? If Trump
14.
can win these last 2 frames, he'll still be favourite going into the resumption because of his experience, what he's won, the number of times he's turned matches his way before, not least yesterday in dramatic fashion against Higgins. But he's got to make it happen first. And that break has ended disappointingly early.
Trump 14.
It's been the story of the afternoon. His highest remains 36 in frame 2, and he was a bit lucky to win that one.
Touching ball.
Well, that certainly helps. Little switch to right-handed. hours, just over. Cue ball's close. So nothing unlucky about that. That's just a poor safety. Oh, how close. How close. But now another half chance for Trump.
Who would have believed as well that Judd Trump would have a return from long range today of just 2 out of 10. He knocked in a couple of outstanding long pots in that whirlwind fight back yesterday against John Higgins. But all aspects of his game have been below par today. That coupled with the fact that he's had so few opportunities to establish any fluency in his game because Zhang has been hogging the table.
Yeah, and as long as he isn't taking advantage, Zhang will be confident. Yeah, he's giving it full consideration. He's looking to see if he puts the cue ball down by the green pocket. That would be a pretty good safety because there's no way to get the red next to the brown down the table. Yeah, clever little shot that from Zhang. Well, you could play off the pack of reds thin and bring that cue ball back down to where it is now. That's an option. And give Zhang the problem. Not often you see Judd taking over a minute on the shot. Well, it was important to get that cue ball tight to the cushion. Not quite tight. Well, that's more like the Trump we know. Getting plenty of encouragement from this crowd. But it's not a good table. Every time Zhang comes to the table, it seems to be a good table. This isn't good at the moment. And it still isn't.
8.
He's not exactly a home favourite, Trump. He hails from Bristol and he's relocated there in more recent times, but he did spend several years in Essex working on his game. He knows the area very well. He's very familiar with this part of the world, and he's got lots of fans here too. And given the state of the final at the moment, I'm sure the vast majority of the crowd want to see him fight back and make this close. What he's looking for is some inspiration, isn't it?
It is, and maybe those two shots have given him some. With the help of the brown there, the red went in the middle. And this is probably the best chance he's had to put something together. Black will only go
15.
to the left corner, so needs to get rid of that red that's over the pocket pretty quickly.
16.
Well, didn't give that one much thought, did he?
20.
Forgot that the brown is coming back up again. Now he realises. But this red, I think, will still go to the right corner. Now needs to get down to that red that's over the pocket. That opens things up. Black available to both pockets then.
$23.
33 points difference, and it suits Judd Trump to see reds on cushions,
24.
just in case he does miss. Care needed.
31. $32.
This black for his highest break of the afternoon, which says it all. But there's still time for Trump to emerge from what has been a very frustrating session for him to date,
39.
with something to build on tonight.
40.
Zhang for once rooted to his seat.
Yes, it was a poor safety. He didn't get that cue ball
47.
anywhere near the balk line, never mind the balk cushion.
48.
So Trump looks to be pulling one back.
55.
Yeah, 65 the lead, so one more ball will do it.
Good jump. 56.
2 snookers required. Zhang has a look at the scoreboard and comes back, which is entirely understandable.
Well, I'd be surprised if he didn't come back. 2 snookers. Happened many times. Making opponent earn the frame. Well, he doesn't want to start throwing the cue ball around the table, because something like that could happen and he would have been in trouble the next shot. Had that cue ball gone in, he'd have been in a tight snooker behind the yellow the shot after. He's not safe yet. Yeah, that red just next to the yellow. If Zhang could get 3 reds, 3 blacks, he could lay a tight snooker. Always worth a little double.
Zhang still needs a couple of snookers to turn this frame around. Terrific atmosphere inside the Brentwood Centre. It's been that way all week. Not a spare seat to be had. And what a fascinating and confounding final it's been so far. And this time Zhang does get himself in behind the black.
Yeah, Zhang's problem is he's got to take blacks. Otherwise the 2 snookers, he could only tie if he takes the pink. Sure he's worked it out.
Well, that's the end of the frame now, and indeed Zhang just glances at Judd and says, yeah, you can have that one. So Judd Trump has an opportunity with this final frame of the session to stay very much in the hunt in this English Open final. But Zhang Anda is still in charge, leading as he is by 5 frames to 2. The beautiful Steve Davis Trophy is up for grabs today in Brentwood. And Judd Trump will be steeling himself for what is a huge frame in this English Open final. Can he reduce the gap to just 2, which is very manageable going into this evening's finale? Or can Zhang Anda extend his lead to a commanding 4 and put himself within 3 frames of a maiden ranking title?
Well, for a change, he hasn't got that cue ball dead on the cushion. And what a difference it makes. Listen to the applause there. They're wanting a closer final.
Trump was 1 out of 8 at one stage from distance today. He's managed to get 3 of his last 5, a much better return. And this was a cracker.
Yeah, it makes all the difference, you know, that cue ball being close to the cushion. And even when it is close to the cushion, they can still go in. I thought he could have given that red a little nudge there, but chose not to. Now the black will go. But what about the red?
12.
And just about held up. Choice of green or yellow. Green looks the best ball to come down for the reds to the left of the pink. Possible plant there as well. Well, that's worked out nice. Taking this red away from the pink spot. The pink will go back onto its spot then.
17.
Oh, big moments these for Judd Trump. And of course, Zhang Anda as well. At 5-1, they've been looking for at least 6-2, possibly 7-1 the way the frames were going.
24.
Black will go to the left corner.
30.
And everybody sat there on the edge of their seats. What a picture that is. I'm sure the black will go. Don't think the red above it will.
31.
But that's obviously the safer option. Easier to get to the next red from there.
37. $38.
Wow, that used all of the pocket. Just got to remember that that pink or any balls going to that
44.
middle don't drop in. In fact, they probably go the other way.
45.
Here it is again. I didn't think that was going to drop at one stage. And everything was there for the taking.
$51.
Zhang has already exceeded many people's expectations with the way in which he's played in this final, that he's been able to boss most of this session.
52.
But when you're playing a champion player like Trump, you have to expect a response, and he's getting one.
Well, I don't know what he's played there. The red above the black I don't think will go to the corner, so it's not safe yet.
There's confirmation.
59.
Won't pass. 59 the lead, still 75 available.
And he's missed it. Oh, I thought he had for a moment. Well, all of the pocket.
So blue and one more red would be sufficient.
I couldn't have played that one any better. This is a red. I thought he'd missed that. The way the pockets are plain, but because it's got a new cloth on the table, it helped it to drop.
66.
And now the pressure is relieved, and Judd Trump has done what he had to do. He's salvaged something from what has been a frustrating session and has put himself back into contention in this final. He's still two adrift, but could have been a whole lot worse at 5-1.
73.
Couldn't score, he couldn't knock in the long ones, he was having problems with his tip,
74.
and his opponent has been playing outstandingly well once again, as he's done throughout the week. But Trump has done enough in these last two frames to keep himself very much in the hunt when they come back tonight at 7 o'clock. And now is eyeing a possible 6th century of the week to finish the session on a high. Zhang
86.
still looking a picture of concentration and composure.
He's got to leave himself low on the black so he can
87.
develop the other red, and that's just about perfect.
$94. 95.
It's been a terrific session. It's been mainly Zhang Ander's afternoon, but Judd Trump has joined the party in the nick of time. And has set up what should be a grandstand finish
102.
this evening.
Yeah, and I bet he wishes he could stay out there now playing. He's got his eye in,
105.
his confidence back.
$109. 114. $20.
Suddenly the game is easy again for Judd Trump as the black takes off. Zhang has ripped up the script this afternoon. In his debut final, he has outplayed Judd Trump, but Trump has kept himself in the hunt going into this evening's finale to close the gap to 2 frames. He trails 5-3.